All right. So I wanted to do this in a separate video, away from just the announcement of the Year 2 Pass, which you can purchase right now. It's available on Steam, and I have no doubt it's available everywhere else on other platforms that you play on, which sees the inclusion, the future release of Bison, Elena, Terry Bogard, and Mai. Now, of course, Terry Bogard and Mai are all from the King of Fighters / Fatal Fury universe. And this is really cool because we do having out, I think it's in early 2025, we're getting a brand new Fatal Fury game, which is going to be so cool, right? And I wonder if that's the reason why they're doing it, because when you look at the release schedule, I think I worked it out. By the time Mai comes out, it's not going to be probably too far off before we get that brand new game. But I wanted to talk about guest characters, right? Because you guys know me, I hate guest characters. But it's something I was talking about with my son earlier and whatnot. And I realized something. That these aren't guest characters in Street Fighter 6. These are crossover characters. And crossover characters is what we used to get back in the day. Especially we even used to get like versus games of Capcom versus SNK2. Marvel vs Street Fighter, X-Men vs Street Fighter. We used to have, when we used to have like crossover characters or other characters that weren't part of the actual universe's game that we were playing, they were characters that were from another fighting franchise. So it made sense. Even when they did the most ridiculous thing most probably thought at the time, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, right? And everyone's going, dude, how is this going to work with Tekken characters in Street Fighter? And they nailed it. And we're still waiting for the Tekken Cross Street Fighter, right? So but we had fighting game characters intermingling with other fighting game franchises, right? Rather than have what we have with Mortal Kombat, where they don't do that. They basically have looked at like horror characters or characters that are really brutal, and that's a terrible word, but let's, for example, make it up and it's applicable today, right? We drag these characters in from these other universes which weren't fighting games and stuck them in MK9, MK10, MK11, and then MK1, right? And they feel very alien, literally like an MK10. They all feel very alien. I don't like, it just doesn't seem like it fits. But if you brought in a character, right, that was part of another fighting game franchise like they did with Akuma in Tekken 7, I think that's alright, right? Because I don't consider that a guest character. That's a crossover character. Crossing over from one fighting game franchise into another within the fighting game realm itself, right? And I hadn't thought about that in forever. It just never occurred to me that, yeah, I can't stand these guest characters. Like the possibility of Ghostface coming out, and we got the other ones that are in there already, and it's just garbage. And then, I just never had that conscious thought of like, oh, well, I wonder what it would be like if we had Ryu in the game or something like that. Now, this is probably one of the main reasons why it's never happened, and that's probably because they're not going to take characters from other fighting games that don't have blood or gore to the capacity that Mortal Kombat does, including finishing moves, and stick them in Mortal Kombat, right? Now, in saying that though, you could get away with it something like Samurai Showdown, which does actually have finishing moves. They're not gory, right? There's blood splatter and you might cut them in half, but there's no entrails or anything like that. Of all the SNK franchises, Samurai Showdown would probably be the closest that you could get in taking those sorts of characters and sticking them in there. And then, you look at something like Soul Calibur 6, right? Which had crossover fighters within the realm. And interestingly enough, this is the interesting part though, right? Because I think it's rare, but I think it can work. This is why I think Spawn was probably the best fit in MK11. and if they put something like Ghost Rider in there as well, the guest character, if it's not part of a fighting game franchise, has to make sense to the universe. Has to make sense. You can get away with it with Spawn, Hell, Netherrealm. You can get away with it Ghost Rider, Hell, Netherrealm, right? You can do that. You've got to have that sort of stuff, you know, make sense to the universe, right? And so if you don't do that, then you end up with Peacemaker, Omni-Man, and Homelander, which just feel really abstract to the rest of the game, the rest of the universe, the world, and the other characters that they're fighting against. Not to mention all the interactable stuff. It's just shit. But in Soul Calibur 6, we had Geralt, right? Now, Geralt is from, obviously, the Witcher series. It's not a fighting game. But what does he do? He wields a sword. Perfect fit for a sword-wielding game. We had Homaru come in Soul Calibur 6. Homaru is from the Samurai Showdown series, right? Perfect fit, wielding a sword. We also had 2B in Soul Calibur 6. We also had 2B as a crossover, or 2B and Geralt would be considered guest characters, not crossover characters, right? Because they're not part of a fighting game franchise. 2B is in Granblue, and she makes perfect sense in that because she's got swords and guns. Granblue has swords and guns, right? For some of the characters, right? And so, so they really thought about, okay, 2B really fits Granblue. The anime aesthetic, the weaponry, perfect fit. With Soul Calibur 6, it was the same thing. Homaru, Geralt. I'm trying to think who else was in there that was guest character. I can't think of it right now. I'm sure there was another one. I'm sure of it. But it fit the universe. It fit the universe because they were sword wielding, right? It made sense. Especially too with Homaru being a crossover within the realm of fighting games. So having other fighting game characters show up in your game, I don't consider them guests. I consider them just crossovers, right? Because within the pool of fighting games, they're just going, yeah, I'm going to wander over here for a little bit and try things out, right? Now, it's very, 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 very easy to go in reverse, to take Mortal Kombat characters into games where there is no bloodshed or anything like that. Look at the Injustice series, right? That's what you would consider a crossover, okay? What do we have? We had Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Raiden, I think, were all the crossover characters from MK into Injustice. So you're still keeping them within the fighting game circle, right? In Injustice 2, you had, I would consider Hellboy a guest character. Ninja Turtles are technically guest characters, unless you want to be really pedantic and say that they showed up in the old 16-bit fighting games, right? Tournament fighters, remember that? So you could argue they were fighting game characters, so technically they're more crossover than guests, but they also fit as well, right? So, and of course Hellboy's a superhero, right? Anti-hero, you know. So that sort of stuff, it felt like the Injustice games, it felt like they made more of a concerted effort to make sure that the characters that they put in there kind of felt like they would fit, right? But in MK, it's just like, oh, we're just putting horror characters in because they kill. Because we want all the gory fatalities, we want all the torture porn, and I hate it. Absolutely hate it. But if you had Spawn back in there, if you had Ghost Rider in there, if you had Blade in there, you could cohesively make up stories to intertwine within the connectivity tissue of Netherrealm, Hell with Spawn and Ghost Rider, Blade, you know, Vampire Hunter, Natara, you know, that sort of thing. He traces them back to, say, Outworld or their realm and finds, oh, this is where the vampires are actually coming from, into Earthrealm. I want them to, this is what I want for MK. If you're going to do this, do it properly. Really consider, does this character actually fit the universe that you've created with MK? So when I looked at this, I am disappointed, not because those characters are in there, because May's hot. Elena looks hot, right? Bison's kick ass. Terry's gonna kick ass. It's gonna be so much fun. Terry versus Ken. Seriously, that's the two blonde chads of like the Capcom and SNK universe going toe to toe. That's gonna be absolutely nuts. That is gonna be so fucking nuts, right? A little disappointed because I was kind of hoping it'd be all Street Fighter characters, but then there's a long roadmap here. There is going to be a lot of characters they want to bring to this, to this franchise, right? And as the game, they've obviously made their own sort of like brand new characters for the universe. So I'm hoping as the year passes go on, they'll just keep adding more and more Street Fighter characters to it, and adding some more crossover characters, proper crossover characters, right? That feel like they make sense in this universe, right? And it just never occurred to me. I haven't thought about the difference for me personally between a guest character and a crossover character, and if the crossover character makes sense. I want to know what you guys think though, because this is good. I mean, this was a great trailer, very exciting. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.